So this way, wherever you see the green and the red really close together, that is where there's some spinning in the atmosphere. And you could see that right there, Diffie Road, Price Road, Railroad Street coming right into Williston here over the next little bit. I'm going to see if I can pull up some maps here, maybe get a little better idea of where this would be. Fire department so far reporting no damage in Williston, which is good, but unfortunately it is just now coming into town. So it's getting ready to cross 76. Basically at Williston, maybe a little bit further south. We've got a Dollar General right there on the south side of town. The Ebenezer Cemetery, Morris Drive, Ebenezer Loop, June Drive, Mindy Hill Farm Animal Rescue. That is all about where this possible circulation is going to be. And it's going to be on the south side of Williston. If there is a tornado, it's going to be right on the south side of Williston. Again, at this moment, and we'll check the debris detector really quick, I'm not seeing any signs of tornado debris. What we can watch for on this product, and again, this is a product that also does not make sense to most people, and I'm sorry I have to show it, but what I would look for is a little blip in the radar near where that circulation is. That would be indicative of some debris being picked up by a tornado. Right now, no signs of that, but unfortunately, the tornado has to hit something first for the debris to be picked up. So sometimes this product can be delayed by a few minutes because it takes time for the tornado to pick up debris and get lofted into the air. So we'll keep an eye on that, but fortunately at this moment, we do not see any signs that this is a tornado on the ground right now, but it could be at any second. Regardless of the tornado, as we were on just a little bit ago talking about on ABC 24 for that severe thunderstorm warning, you've still got hail and wind in here. Even if there's not a tornado, this is a mean storm, pretty much all the way down from Somerville down to Williston on 76, even down to Moscow. You've got damaging winds in here of 50 to 60 miles an hour. So forget the tornado. If there is one, it's going to be, dangerous, but winds without the tornado are still dangerous, 50 to 60 miles an hour, and that's easily going to knock out some power. Would not be surprised at all to see a little hail over Moscow right now. And what I'm going to do actually is put on the hail detector, and you can kind of see some of that purple lighting up. Where that purple is, that is where we're picking up the possibility of some hail. So again, pretty much right along 76 from Somerville through Williston down to Moscow, even Rossville, still seeing the wind and the possibility of some hail. But again, the reason we're with you, the reason we're interrupting programming is because we have this tornado warning that's in effect. Now, Somerville, you're not in the tornado warning. Moscow, Rossville, you're not in the tornado warning. This is kind of a narrow potential for a tornado over Williston now and moving off to the east at about 30 miles an hour. So there's the latest update. I want to zoom back in and check out the potential for rotation. And again, where the green and the red come together, that is where we have the possible tornado. So right now it's pretty much over 76 near Price Road. Again, I told you there's a little Dollar General out there on the south side of Williston. If there is a tornado, that's where it's going to be. It would have just crossed 76 and eventually up toward Pattersonville. So that's going to be within about the next 30 seconds. Obviously, this radar scan is a little bit delayed. It takes some time to come in and get ingested into the computer. So what you're looking at here is already 2 to 3 minutes old. So we can kind of assume that if there is a tornado, Pattersonville, LaGrange Road, Sardis Drive, Jernigan Drive, eventually possibly into Hardeman County, and Hardeman County is under this tornado warning as well. Just quickly, because we always get the messages during this that people think we're not talking enough about them, I want to kind of zoom out for just a second and show you the whole area. We're not forgetting about you. We're going to come right back in. But I just want to show you that there's really not a whole lot going on anywhere else. We do have some heavy rain in Memphis right now. North Mississippi pretty much dry, and eastern Arkansas is pretty much dry as well. But we do have this big complex of thunderstorms coming into Fayette County, honestly getting ready to leave Fayette County, coming into Hardeman County in the next little bit. and that is where we have that potential of a tornado. So let's zoom right back in here. Again, this tornado warning technically goes until 9:30. We'll see if it gets canceled early, but for right now, I still think there's a good enough signature that we have the possibility of a tornado in here near Williston, just south of town on 76, and then moving off to the east at about 30 miles an hour. Got a new storm track on this. Let's check that out and get some details on that. So again, if this holds together, could be an issue for Grand Junction in the next little bit. I do want you to notice your BTI number. That's your Barron Tornado Index. That's the company that provides us this weather radar. They have a scale from 1 to 10. They can look at the thunderstorm and determine how likely it is to actually be producing a tornado. 0 means not at all. 10 means essentially, yes, there's a tornado. So right now, it's a 4.2. Really anything over 3 starts to catch our attention a little bit. So when we see that a little closer to 4, it really gets our attention. Again, still a 4.2 right now, moving off to the east at about 25, 30 miles an hour. The National Weather Service is noting something interesting. They're saying that it looks like this storm is trying to gust out, which is some good news and some bad news. I'll tell you why. The good news is when a storm is gusting out, it's letting out all of its energy and it's kind of coming to an end. That's when the storm starts to collapse and it starts to die out. The problem with that, though, is when a storm is gusting out, it lets out all of its energy at one time. So that big gust of wind comes out of the thunderstorm, 50, 60, maybe 70 miles an hour of wind. And that's why I've been saying, even if we don't have a tornado on the ground, which again, it doesn't look like we do at the moment, there is a possibility of one. The winds are pretty much a guarantee that they are going to be strong. I do want to let you know, if you're watching in Memphis, Shelby County, we've got a nasty little thunderstorm coming through. It's pretty much right over Orange Mound right now with some thunder and lightning. That does not have any warnings on it. It's nothing to be concerned about. If you're in Memphis and you're hearing the rain and the wind and the thunder, it's a heavy storm. I don't want you outside playing around in it, but it's not an issue like this storm is. It's going to come and go pretty quickly. And then once this storm moves out of Memphis, Memphis is going to be done with the weather for the rest of the night. Again, the storm we're really concerned about, really watching, is over Williston, Tennessee. Honestly, the worst of it now moving out of Williston, so things lightening up a little bit there. Hopefully everything is okay. And again, we're going to check in with some of the EMS crews out there in Fayette County. They're in one of our chats right now, out there working hard this evening. So we're going to keep an eye on that. But for right now, a couple of minutes ago, they did not have any reports of damage in Williston. But again, this is a tornado warning, the possibility of a tornado. Usually we don't talk about tornadoes in June. We've been in a really weird weather pattern for the last couple of weeks. We've had these rounds and rounds and rounds of thunderstorms come through. And honestly, I can't tell you the last time we had a June tornado warning. They don't happen very often. But we are in an environment right now that could try to spin one up. So it seems like things are improving a little bit on this storm, that maybe they're going to allow this tornado warning to expire, to be canceled a little early, and then we can be done with this, hopefully, at least with this round of it. Things just not looking as impressive as they did a little bit ago. And when I say that, that's good news for Williston. As a matter of fact, when you check out the velocity mode, which is what I was telling you about the greens and the reds, notice they're not really touching anymore. We don't have that one on each other like we did just a little bit ago. It's kind of broadening out. It's weakening, if you will. All of this is good news. That means the tornado potential is continuing to go down. They are going to keep the tornado warning, at least for the next little bit. Technically, it goes until 9:30. The latest update from the Weather Service came out just a few seconds ago at 9:10. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located 7 miles northwest of LaGrange, or 18 miles southwest of Bolivar, and moving east at 25 miles an hour. And I think our storm track was doing a pretty good job of picking up on that speed. So I want to check back on that. BTI still a 4.2, so this storm is not completely done yet. We've still got the potential of a tornado. That's why that warning is going to stay in place for the next little bit. But notice, though, Hail is also at an 80%. So we have the potential to see some dime to penny sized hail falling around out there. And again, we already know there's wind gusts within the storm of 50 to 60 miles an hour. So again, next up, eastern Fayette County, this big thunderstorm coming into your area and eventually out toward Hardeman County as well. I do think the worst of this stays south of Bolivar. So if you're in Bolivar along 64, the worst of this thunderstorm is going to stay south of you. This is going to be more of an issue for Middleton and those areas in the southern portion of Hardeman County. Grand Junction, you're really getting in on the worst of it now. And again, even if we don't have a tornado in here, which it is possible, we've got the damaging wind gusts, the potential of hail, and a good bit of lightning. As a matter of fact, let me flip on the lightning just for a second. You can see all the strikes kind of blinking and flashing around down there. So this is a loud thunderstorm. It's got gusty winds, damaging wind gusts possibly, and some hail mixed in here too. Now east of 76 in Fayette County. Kind of rural out here, but still some folks that live out here. So I do just want to kind of zoom in here. Again, here's Pattersonville, McNeil Road, LaGrange Road. We're getting out here into the part of the country that the roads are named after the families that live on them. That's just kind of where we are. So if you recognize these names or these areas, that is where the worst of this storm is coming in now. Pittman Road, Sardis Drive. Let's see if I can read that a little closer. McCartley Road. I want to try to get it right here, but that text is small, so you'll forgive me. Bishop Drive's out here. All of this kind of in the path of what could be a tornado. Right now, no indication that it is a tornado. In fact, the storm, that part of the storm at least continues to weaken, but still damaging wind gusts and hail all possible right now east of Williston, Pattersonville, over LaGrange Road. And that area, the purples that you're seeing in the storm, that's where we're seeing the wind gusts and the hail. Hickory Valley eventually into Hardeman County, Center Point, that is going to be Middleburg, Van Buren, Newcastle, Sugar Hill, all out in Hardeman County. That is where that storm is headed next. So again, at this moment, it does not look like there is a tornado on the ground. That is good news. For a while there, it looked like one was trying to spin up. That's why we had that tornado warning in place. Waiting to hear from the EMS folks out in Fayette County. Last report was that they did not have any damage, and they would let us know if they did, and we haven't heard anything, so no news is usually good news. They would let us know if anything happened out there. So hopefully Williston holding on okay. Probably some power knocked out there with this heavy thunderstorm that came through. But again, regardless of if we've got a tornado, we do have the potential of damaging wind gusts and hail. So one more storm track to put on this for you, kind of just tracking this out. Again, the worst of this storm going to stay south of 64 and south of Bolivar, but it is still going to be a rough storm for areas south of Bolivar in Hardeman County. So let's do another storm track on this. Again, this whole storm moving east at about 30 miles an hour, and it means business as it does so. Again, the worst of this thing going to stay to the south of Bolivar. Bolivar, you're still going to get some rain. It's probably going to be heavy rain, but the worst of it going to be south of you. Hornsby by about 9:53, Middleton by about 9:48. So that's kind of where that storm is headed to next. I do want to get a quick update for what's going on here in Memphis. Again, we do have some heavy rain in parts of the city, down near the airport, Whitehaven, Oak Haven, into East Memphis, all seeing that heavy rain right now. But no warning on this. It's not a severe thunderstorm. It's really nothing to be concerned about what's happening in Memphis, but it is some very heavy rain. A little bit of this storm trying to sneak into North Mississippi. If you're in northern Marshall County out near Mount Pleasant, right there along 72, you're going to get in on kind of the back side of that thunderstorm that does have the potential to produce some gusty winds, some heavy rain, and some small hail. And then eventually into Benton and Tippah counties, at least the northern part of it, this thing's going to kind of ride the state line eventually toward Hardeman County within the next little bit. I do want to get you an update here also what's happening in the northern portion of Hardeman County, which right now there's no warning on, but still kind of a tough thunderstorm here. That one eventually going in toward Chester County and the northern portion of McNairy County. Again, no warning on that, nothing to be too alarmed about, but I did just want to give you a heads up that it is a nasty thunderstorm coming out toward Henderson within just the next little bit. I want to go back into our problem child storm, which is the reason that I'm on talking to you here. And I know there's people out there that are saying, hey, nothing's really happening. Why are you on TV? Trust me, I don't want to be talking for 45 minutes at a time either. But when we have a tornado warning, we have to go on. So as long as this warning is in place, I'm going to have to stay on with you. We'll see if they cancel it early, but that is the reason that we come on and we talk. We're not just talking for fun. Again, trust me, this is normally my day off. I would much rather, believe me, be at home. But we are keeping an eye on this for you because that's what we do, and we're here to keep you safe, and I would do that any day of the week. And we're going to stay here with you as long as there is this threat. But still some very heavy rain and the potential in there for a little tornado to spin up. Again, this is June. We don't see these big tornadoes in June, which is good news, but even a little tornado can still produce winds of 70, 80, 90 miles an hour, and it can do some damage. I'm going to skip explaining all this to you. What I can tell you is what I'm looking at here does not indicate to me that there is a potential of a tornado anymore. For a minute we did. We had indications that things were really trying to spin up. We could have had a funnel cloud out near Williston, but what I'm seeing right now is that there's not as much spinning. Now, we're still seeing wind gusts of 50 to 60 miles an hour out ahead of this storm, but I'm not seeing anything right now that is too alarming for the potential of a tornado. That's all good news for Fayette County. It's all good news for Hardeman County. Still a monster of a storm. It's a doozy. It's going to knock out some power probably as it comes through. But a little bit of good news you can take with you is at this moment, I don't see anything too alarming. I don't think we have a tornado to deal with right now. So the Weather Service, they're kind of saying the same thing. They're going to keep an eye on it, and they're going to see if we can cancel this warning early. If that's the case, I can throw you back to regular programming, which unfortunately on ABC 24 is one of the best movies ever created, Up, and I'm so sorry I had to interrupt it. But again, we got weather to deal with tonight, so we're going to keep an eye on it for you. Still got damaging winds out there. Again, like I said, out ahead of the storm in eastern Fayette County out toward Williston. Going back to the radar right now, again, the worst of it now past you, Williston. Moscow, it's going to be letting up for you within about the next 5 or 6 minutes. Somerville, Oakland, it's all past you as well. Pretty much now really quickly becoming an issue for Hardeman County. I don't expect, unless something changes, that tornado warning is going to be extended into Hardeman County. I do not expect that to happen. But we are going to see damaging wind gusts, heavy rain, maybe even some hail. So if you're out in Bolivar, Middleton, even in rural Hardeman County, kind of out there in the boondocks, as they say, south of Bolivar, south of 64, we could be talking about some power outages as this hefty line of thunderstorms rolls on into Hardeman County. I want to zoom out here and just kind of give you a recap and a reset of what's going on across the area. Again, that little batch of storms, that's really all we're worried about. And that's going to be out of our hair probably within the hour. I would say by 10 or 10:30 at the latest, this batch of storms is going to be past Hardeman County. It's going to have to get through McNairy County and Selmer first. It's going to probably hit a little bit of Corinth too. But once it passes all those folks, by 10:30, I think the worst of the weather is done, and then we can rest easy for the rest of the night. Again, if you're just joining us, I'm meteorologist Trevor Burchett. We're on air right now on ABC 24 and on CW 30 because we have a tornado warning, a rare tornado warning in June. We don't see these very often. That was issued for parts of Fayette and Hardeman counties. That technically goes until 9:30. But like I've been saying to you, my indications are, from what I'm looking at on the radar, is that the tornado threat has passed for now. Right around 9 o'clock, things looked really fishy over Williston. It looked like near Williston, Tennessee, we might have had a tornado trying to spin up. But it looks like that has kind of died down a little bit. So that's some good news. We will see if the Weather Service is going to allow this tornado warning to be canceled, because technically, like I said, it goes for about 10 more minutes. But I'm just not very concerned, at least right now, for what I'm seeing. Now, these storms can kind of ramp up and go back down in intensity. We call that cycling. They like to do that. They kind of take a break, pick up some more energy, and then they can re-intensify. So if you're in Hardeman County, I don't want you to let your guard down. Just be aware that there is the potential of a tornado to spin back up. And even if you don't see a tornado, you are going to see the potential of some damaging wind gusts, 50, 60 miles an hour, as this storm continues to move to the east. So here's what they're going to do. They're going to allow that tornado warning to expire as scheduled at 9:30. Past that, they're going to allow a severe thunderstorm warning to take its place. So here's what we're going to do, just to kind of make it easy on everybody. I'm going to take up the rest of CW30 news at 9, which I believe is 9 more minutes. I think we're out at 9:30 tonight. And we can go ahead and send ABC back to regular programming. If that's fine with y'all in the back, that's what we do, because it looks like the tornado threat has kind of dissipated a little bit and is no longer that much of a concern. Again, damaging wind gusts still a big problem out in Hardeman County, south of Bolivar. And honestly, started to get into North Mississippi as well, right there along 72. So before I let you go, I am going to do one more storm track on this and just give you an idea of when the worst of this weather is going to be in your neighborhood. And really, we're going to be watching North Mississippi here in the next little bit, because that storm is really causing some damaging wind gusts down there in northern Benton County, out near Ashland, and then Walnut, eventually, Walnut and Middleton. That could be a concern for Corinth. Within about the next, let's say, hour and a half, that storm is going to be bringing some damaging wind gusts into your area as well. So what we're going to do, we're going to pause for a second. We're going to stay on CW30. So if you want to keep getting weather updates, switch over to CW30. I'm going to be on with you for the next little bit. But for now, if you're watching on ABC 24, we're going to send you back to regular programming. We'll see you back here for ABC 24 News at 10, which starts in a little over 30 minutes. And we should just now be on CW30. We're going to continue our coverage here, at least for the next 5 or 6 minutes or so, until our normal scheduled newscast runs out. So if y'all could just kind of time me out for whenever that last break is, and I can kind of wrap up then. But I'll stay with you for the next little bit here on CW30. And while we're here, and since we're kind of losing this tornado potential, I want to kind of zoom out and reset just a little bit and give you an idea of what's going on. Again, this whole complex of storms right here over Bolivar, that's kind of the nastiest batch. So Bolivar, southern Hardeman County, Walnut, eventually towards Selmer and Corinth. Within about the next hour and a half, that's going to be coming into your neighborhood. We do have some heavy rain right now in the city of Memphis. Now, what's happening in Memphis right now is nothing to be concerned with. It's very heavy rain. It is very gusty wind, but at least at this moment, it's nothing too alarming. Germantown, down toward Capelville, Shelby Drive area heading eastbound, Germantown and Collierville, you're going to get one more round of some heavy rain and damaging wind gusts, and then it's going to kind of be done for you. After this, things are looking a whole lot better. So I know technically we have a tornado watch that is in effect for the entire area until 1 a.m. If you're in eastern Arkansas, that threat is done for you. If you're over in Arkansas, I don't think you have to worry about weather for the rest of the night. There could be a sprinkle or two here or there, but the worst of the weather is past you. That's the same story if you're in Dyersburg, Ripley, Covington, Millington, kind of that back edge of the thunderstorms. That's kind of the end of the threat here. North Mississippi, you've missed out on a lot this afternoon, but you got the storms this morning. There's a couple of pop-up storms here or there, and we're going to watch again Corinth within about the next hour for that potential of some very heavy thunderstorms and some damaging wind gusts. But it looks like things might be winding down here, which is some good news. We will happily take whatever we can get. Again, we were on with you because of the potential of a tornado in Hardeman County and Fayette County about 30 minutes ago. We had a little circulation right over Williston, Tennessee in Fayette County. The worst of that has kind of faded away. So that tornado warning is going to be allowed to expire at the bottom of the hour, which is in about 4 minutes from now. And then we will let you go on our CW30 programming. But that's kind of the lay of the land right now. What's going to happen is over the next couple of hours, these storms are going to kind of fall apart. They're going to continue to exit the Mid-South. I think by 11 p.m., essentially those storms are going to be completely done. And then we will be looking better for the rest of the night. And honestly, into next week, things are looking a lot better as well. I do want to zoom in here one more time into, I called it the problem child earlier. That's what it is, the one little thunderstorm that wanted to cause some issues this morning. We got a lot of lightning coming into northern Mississippi right now, north of Ashland, right there along 72. That's Highway 72 right there. So out in Marshall County along 72, eventually into northern Tippah County, northern Benton County. That is going to bring in some damaging wind gusts as well. And I would not be surprised if we saw wind gusts of 50 to 60 miles an hour that they could issue a thunderstorm warning for. Not a tornado warning, but a thunderstorm warning for the northern portion of Benton and Tippah counties, because that storm is really meaning some business, and it's got a ton of lightning in it right now over Grand Junction. Just want to kind of get some stats on that. Again, the worst of it pretty much in Grand Junction now, but it does have hail. 100% it has some hail, and that hail size is about 1 inch. So that again is moving into northern Mississippi. So I wanted to give you that heads up there. Out near Walnut, Middleton, that storm is going to be coming into your area in the next little bit. I want to check in one more time to our possible tornado. Again, that's the reason we were on with you, is there was a potential of a tornado over Williston, Tennessee. Again, some good news right now. I'm not hearing any reports of damage out of Williston. We've been keeping an eye on things, and we had a guy in here that was from the Williston area, Fayette County EMA, that was keeping an eye on damage reports. For now, we have not seen any, which is good. But for a while there, it was looking like something was trying to spin up. So before we go, before I let you completely off the hook for the night, I just want to check in one more time and make sure we're not missing anything. And really what I'm seeing in here is the wind. Where you're seeing those brighter greens in there, that's picking up the wind in the storm. We are seeing wind gusts in there easily 50 to 60 miles an hour. And again, it is out near LaGrange, Tennessee right now. Grand Junction really getting just a ton of lightning in there. Let me zoom on into that just a little bit further and get a better idea of what is going on. Right over Grand Junction, probably got a little bit of hail, some heavy rain, some thunder and lightning. And again, that's now pushing into the extreme northern portion of Benton and Tippah counties now. Eventually toward Millington, Walnut, Mississippi, you're going to be up next. And again, this could be an issue a little closer to Corinth in the next little bit. Also, again, some thunderstorms back in the Memphis metro right now. None of those are anything to be concerned with at this moment, but it is producing some heavy rain out there between Germantown and Collierville. So just a heads up for you. If you're out there, you're hearing the lightning and thunder, no warnings for you right now. Within the next little bit, that tornado warning for Fayette and Hardeman counties is going to be allowed to expire. So again, keep an eye on the weather through about 11 o'clock tonight. That's when the worst of this is going to be out, and the rest of the night will be dry, and that tornado watch will be allowed to expire. But again, tornado warning has now been canceled for Fayette County, Hardeman County. If you want an update on the weather, we'll be there on ABC 24 News at 10 p.m. We'll see you then over on Channel 24.